Be talking, throughout the week, but I wanted to bring on your next interviewee, Amelia Powers Gardner from the County Clerk's Office of Utah.
Thank you.
I'll let her introduce herself.
Thank you so much. Amelia, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
And thank you for coming from the great state of Utah to Washington, D.C. Thank you.
So I was in the county clerk's office. He was right last year. I'm actually a county commissioner now. So.
Oh, really?
I'm a county commissioner in Utah County, which is the second largest county in Utah, just south of Salt Lake. It's about 750,000 people. So it's a fairly decent sized county.
Hang on just a second. I apologize. We're having some technical difficulties here. Great system. Are you recording? Scott Thompson. Yes, I am recording, and I do apologize. This is a live event, and every once in a while we have these little technical glitches as we get things warmed up and kind of run through. It's interesting, the state of Utah. The state of Utah is well represented at this event here. There must be some initiatives that you guys are looking at, that you are planning in the background. You keep on saying yes.
Yep.
You want to talk a little bit about that, or is it too early?
No, so we've got a few things. So I kind of led out in 2019, 2020. I was a leader in implementation of blockchain in this space. So I actually won the Government Blockchain Association's Leader of the Year in 2020. And for implementing blockchain voting for overseas and military members and people with disabilities. And then also we started putting marriage licenses on the blockchain in my county in 2020. We've since done 25,000 marriage licenses on the blockchain. But the new initiatives coming forward in Utah actually kind of take a step back. So I was an early adopter because I understood the technology. I was comfortable with the technology. I saw the need for it and the use cases and started implementing them in local government. And as I did that, what I found is that there were a lot of people in other areas of the state, in bureaucracies and the lawmakers that didn't really understand that technology. We also have a really big budding tech sector, and a lot of our tech sector wanted to get into blockchain.
Salt Lake City, the tech sector. I am so impressed with the tech sector.
Yeah, we've got it's called Silicon Slopes, kind of from Silicon Valley coming into Utah, where we've got the mountains. We call it Silicon Slopes, and there really wasn't a lot of framework. So what we've done this year in Utah, in the 2022 legislative session, we passed 3 bills. The first bill was very basic, and it actually created just the legal framework and definitions for digital assets. So what is a digital asset, and what are your property rights around digital assets? So that's really big, because as we're looking at the tech sector budding, also, as well as investors in this crypto space, if you're going to buy an NFT or a token, we now have a legal framework with definition of terms in law for cryptocurrency and blockchain in general. That's huge for investors, for companies, for individuals. That was one of the bills. The second bill is we created a blockchain task force. So this is a task force that can have up to 15 members. It's under the executive branch, but it has appointees from both the legislative branches, the House and the Senate in the state, as well as the governor's office. There's a representative from the treasurer's office and the AG's office, so we can look at legal framework for the attorney general. But we really lean heavily on the private sector to come in on this task force as well, because as any local government, state legislator, or bureaucracy or division is looking at blockchain or cryptocurrency, they don't have to have internal expertise. We've created a task force with this expertise so that any of these new ideas or emerging technologies can be evaluated by a group of people that spend a lot of time in this space and is able to give expert opinions to government agencies. That's going to be invaluable moving forward.
Exactly,
That task force can also recommend, especially the industry members of that task force can recommend legislation. So if there's a company that is running into some barriers, they can bring that up to the task force and legislators can run that. It's going to be huge for moving forward. And then the third thing we did is create the legal framework so that government agencies, state and local entities can accept cryptocurrency as payment for taxes. That's what we've already done, which is a lot. But then moving forward, the first bill of next year that we've already started talking about goes back to my marriage licenses that I implemented
Oh, no.
in 2020, in that
Yeah.
it's creating the framework for digital documents, certified digital documents, and it's allowing the state to create a legal framework that really says that the digital marriage licenses, the 25,000 plus that we've already issued, every state government agency will then be required to accept that, so that you don't have to produce the paper copy. The digitally certified blockchain sealed copy is good enough for any state agency. That will,
It's not an NFT.
it literally, it is an NFT. And what it's saying is that government agencies have to accept your NFT marriage license. So when you get married, if you go to change your name and you go to the DMV, you don't have to produce a paper copy. You can just show them your NFT. And
now hang on a second here, because that makes way too much sense. You're making way too much sense. You're a government entity. You're making way too much sense. You're blowing my mind, and I don't know if I can deal with this anymore.
Right. So we're definitely on the leading edge here. And what I would love to see, this legal framework will allow the things that we've already implemented to expand.
Let me ask you a question. How do you think that being a member of the the Government Blockchain Association, Gerard Dash and some of those other guys, how do you think that being a member of this group has helped you in cultivating that legislation and getting that legislation through and making these plans?
Oh, it's been huge. So I've been a member of GBA. This will be my third year personally that I've been a member. And this is actually where I get a lot of the ideas. Or if we have ideas, this is where I have a sounding board to really hash out the finite details of those ideas. Government doesn't have a lot of internal expertise in this area. So being able to network with people who have that expertise from around the world and work out those finite details for the actual implementation of these ideas has been absolutely invaluable. In fact, we have started in the state of Utah, we have the Utah Blockchain Coalition, which is an industry association of all of the companies and industries in Utah that deal with Web3 blockchain type technologies. And that coalition actually formed at a GBA conference about 8 months ago. Last year, so in 2021, there was a group of about 6 of us from Utah that were here in DC at a GBA conference. And we powwowed one night and said, why don't we have an industry association? Went back to Utah and literally incorporated and created an industry association that today has over 3 dozen companies and over 50 members that are represented, that is all industry that are advising the legislature. They're advising this task force and really leading the way in Utah. That actually came about because we saw the community here through the GBA.
So your membership with GBA has been instrumental in you being able to pass this legislation and move these things forward. I think that they're an unsung hero. I just want to I want to mention Gerard and the Global Blockchain Association and all the stuff that they do for everyone, because they're really the unsung heroes in this industry. And I want to thank you for everything that you're doing. Joel McKay, do you know Joel? Is he in the task force from Salt Lake?
The task force is actually, they have not appointed everybody yet. It's just passed. I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, that all of the members of the task force will be hashed out.
Yeah, let's chat about that, right?
Yeah.
I might be able to send some people your way.
Yeah, that'd be
Definitely.
absolutely great. So,
Thank
the
you
other
so
thing
much for your
I've
time.
done
Go ahead.
is I've had the ability to have people from all over the world as I've presented, you know, the marriage licenses, for example. I've been contacted by people all over the world saying, how did you do it? What are the logistics? You know, how can we do it here? So it's really a great place to share that information with other people as well.
Awesome. And I think you're wonderful. I think the best thing about you, the most incredible thing that I know about you, and you're very, very, you have solved the voting issue. You actually have a voting process that is government certified and working within the government. I've looked at it. It's simple, logical, and it's a repeatable and a scalable process. And it's already covered under government organization. So all of the things that we're talking about as far as voting, things of this nature, you're actually doing it right now, this very moment, legally. It's amazing. Thank you for being you, and thank you for helping us out. We got to move on now. I really appreciate your time. We got to have a shout out here, because if someone is thinking, gee, I'm working on voting, she's got the keys to voting, how do I get a hold of her? Or Salt Lake City, I want to get on the innovation. How do we help innovation? How do we help the blockchain coalition in Salt Lake City? They're going to get a hold of you. They're going to send you an email. They're going to send you on a website, something that you're showing on LinkedIn. What's the best way to contact you? Let us know.
Yeah, LinkedIn is a great way. But probably my campaign email is the easiest, just because it's so easy to remember. It's amelia@amelia.vote. So AMELIA, amelia@amelia.vote. Or if you want my website, just amelia.vote.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.